Whoops. Upside down camera. Good morning from beautiful downtown crestline in the San Bernardino Mountains of Southern California's Inland Empire, about 70 miles east of Los Angeles and about 5,000 feet up on a mountain. I believe Big Bear got snow, Crestline got rain. It's Monday. February 16 in the year of our Lord, 2026. Once again, a local who volunteered to help me get rid of the trash because I'm having trouble hauling it out front because of my bad back, and I am 71 years old. Once again, he looked at the things I have sorted, organized, boxed up, and tarped up and said, let's throw those out too. Excuse me? Those are the things I'm trying to save by emptying out the shed of the trash so I can put those things in the shed. They aren't trash. Oh, hi, Jason. Good morning. You're up early. I don't have a sleep-wake schedule myself, so since I woke up and the cats won't let me go back to bed, well, serendipity, a positive coincidence, a lucky coincidence, serendipity. You got up to use the bathroom and saw that I was on. I don't take my phone to the bathroom. I somehow think it might get contaminated. Of course, if I'm taking a shower, that's different. Anyway, I'm not throwing out the things people gave me for Christmas. I'm not throwing out my clothes. I'm not throwing out the inventory from when I used to have a gift shop. Well, hello there, listen, my son. I'm subscribed to your channel on YouTube. I enjoy your streams. I usually cannot listen live because Verizon sucks, and it'll just stall and give me the hourglass of doom. You're a long-time subscriber? Wow, I didn't know that. From Philadelphia. Wow. Well, good to see you here. It's like 3:26 in the morning here in California. Yeah, so I try to get help to get the trash out of here because my big storage shed got so badly damaged in winter storms that most of the stuff inside it is trash. So I asked people to help me get rid of the trash, and they want to throw out the good stuff that I've either salvaged or just never taken into the house. Because it's a tiny house, I have only so much room. And I'm trying to clear out the kitchen so I can do some major cleaning in the kitchen. I gave up trying to clear out the living room so I could take that carpet scrubber machine and scrub the floors. Because code enforcement keeps citing me for stupid stuff, They come out for 10 minutes on one day and just assume that my yard always looks like that. Anyway, every time I ask for help, the helpers want to throw out everything. It would cost me thousands of dollars to replace the things they want to throw in the trash. Anyway, I'm getting over it, sort of. But it could cost me a lot of more money to throw out the things I actually need and use when there's plenty of trash to throw out. Let's get the trash first. Wow. So listen, my son says many of his subs watch me. God, they don't chat with me. I guess they don't catch me live. I gave up trying to have a schedule because every time I choose a scheduled time to go live, my internet goes down. I think it's a combination of YouTube and Verizon wireless that just strangles my stream. YouTube says I'm not connected. Verizon says I am. Or Verizon goes down and either way, YouTube stalls and won't restart. So I have to close the live stream and start a new one. But I'm betting that at 3:30 in the morning that won't happen to me. They're prioritizing and I'm not a priority. I was just musing, half asleep, and placating the cats with their treats and cleaning litter boxes. My home is like cheap, but my interest rate is 9.75, and for various reasons I cannot refinance. But my mortgage payments are under $1,000, and around here you can't rent a room for less than $1,200 now. So there would be no point in selling the house. If I refinanced it, there'd be all kinds of problems, like I don't have enough income. They won't just refinance what I owe. They want to give me cash back, and then that makes the total of the mortgage more than I can qualify for. So I'm kind of stuck here. I'm glad I like this house. Tora, bad cat. Come on, say hi to your adoring fans. Where are you? She's in the dark. You can kind of see Sweetie. Black cats are hard to get on camera. See, she's black with white feet and she has a white head. Anyway, when my parents were young, in 1965, they bought a house in Anaheim, California for $17,000. Their interest rate was 3%. In 1970, they sold that house and bought a brand new house in a brand new housing development in Brea, California. 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a loft, a huge kitchen and dining area, and a nice living room, and a 2-car garage. $33,500, and the interest rate was 3%. You can't rent a room for what their monthly payment was. It was about $350 a month. 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, huge loft, 2-car garage. You couldn't touch that for under $500,000, probably more like 1 million. And I'm in a 438 square foot tiny house that I happen to like, which is a good thing. 1 bedroom, I don't know if it's half or a quarter bath. There's a shower and no tub. It's tiny. But the living room is nice and big. It's about 10 feet by 20 feet. It's half of the house. But I'm paying more for this tiny house than my parents paid for that huge, brand new 5 bedroom house. And they keep telling us that inflation is 2% a year. Excuse me? Shoot, back in 2004 when I bought this house with my inheritance from Granny, it was like a distressed house they couldn't sell, but as soon as I made an offer, someone else wanted it and kept bidding up the price. But I knew I had to have this house. It isn't exactly level, but the house is a single story. The lot is flat. And I'm old. I don't want stairs, especially not inside the house. So I'm good. But it ticks me off that before property taxes, it's almost $500 a month. And the property taxes in California are a crime. They're outrageous. It's something like $3,000 a year, maybe $3,500. I keep forgetting because every time I look it up, I'm in shock. To own what is basically what they want to build for homeless people, a tiny house. I don't know. But as a result of all these different circumstances, I can't leave California, where I was born and raised. And I'm kind of laughing at people who think you can't get ID if you got married because your last name is different. Well, I chose to change my first name because nobody ever called me Leslie. Mom called me Tess, and my husband called me Tessa. So I changed my name with the DMV on my driver's license, and I changed my name on my Social Security. And now my first name is Tessa. Can't get real ID because they won't accept the 2 name changes that I made in 1973, when that's all you had to do. They insist I have to get a judge to approve my new first name that I've been using since 1973. When I was a school child, I made my teachers and not siblings, classmates call me Leslie, but it just didn't stick at home. It was my grandmother's name, Mom's mother-in-law. My grandmother, we called her Dee Dee, but her name was Leslie. She was wonderful. And Mom didn't like her. She didn't like Dad. So I guess that's why she didn't like me. But regardless of all the stupid, evil stuff Mom did, my brother Steve and I managed to grow up with, ethics and morals and good behavior. But I'm sick and tired of being punished every time I start to do something good. That's what it adds up to. I used to put things out front when I didn't want them anymore with a sign that says free. Now, if you try to do that, the county will fine you for having junk in your front yard. And they aren't letting us have yard sales. You have to have a garage sale, and if you don't have a garage, tough luck. Many of our local charities survive on what they earn at yard sales. So things I can't sell on consignment at local shops or on eBay, I donate to the seniors thrift shop. And I'm not doing much on eBay because they need to get their act together. They're mistreating sellers to the point where you often take a loss when you sell something. It's weird. Anyway, I thought my back was gonna be totally destroyed a few days ago. Turned out to be kidney stones, which, by the way, hurt a lot more than a broken back. A lot more. So, anyway, I'm still kind of owie, but I've passed the biggest kidney stones that I had. I'm watching all these shows like Black Conservative Perspective. Why do I blank on the names of my favorite channels? Oh, OK Rick. Shoot. Oh, of course, Listen, My Son. Good channel. I've kind of given up on Benny Johnson. He's all glitz and glamour. But I do watch Doug TenNapel a lot. He's a comic book artist, creator of Earthworm Jim. And he did a lot for, what was that animated show on, was it on Netflix or what? See, I don't have small children, so I'm not terribly familiar. But it was animated show for kids with animals. Can't remember. Well, it's 3:41 in the morning. I don't have to remember. It's really nice to have you guys in chat. See, most of the time, my stream is directed by the chat. What you tell me what you want to talk about. I'm waiting for voter ID to go into effect. I've had ID since I was 18 years old. No, 16, pardon me. But that was my learner's permit, no photo. If my husband hadn't paid for me to get driving lessons, I never could have passed the test because my high school didn't have driver ed, and I was kind of clueless about a lot of important details of driving a car. Dad tried to teach me to drive in his Mercury Capri, but the clutch spring on that car was so stiff I could not control it. I couldn't let it out slowly and it was really hard to push it in. Yeah, it was a stick shift. I knew how to shift, but I couldn't handle that clutch. So I learned in a friend's Econoline van, Ford Econoline van. It was a 3 on the tree, no problem, but the clutch was easy to manage. But I still didn't know things that they didn't know to tell me, to teach me. I just had the driver ed book to go by, and it was kind of useless. So anyway, Phil got me driving lessons and I got my license, finally. After my son was born. Oh, wow. Let's see, he was born in 73, so I might have been just barely 19 when I passed the driver test and got my license. Yeah, because I was 19 when he was born. Okay, got my photo ID. Had it ever since. I'm waiting for voter ID to pass for various reasons. I mean, people have registered their dogs to vote. We gotta stop that. Not because it's illegal, but because it's wrong. And now we gotta vote on a midterm election in November and see what we can do about the House and the Senate. I'm not telling you how to vote, what to vote for or against, but please vote. Whatever your choice. And check out Listen My Son on YouTube. It's a great channel. And pray for Jason to get an actual full-time job so he can get on his feet again. I'm getting plenty of help right now. It's just government red tape that's slowing me down. But soon as the rain and snow stop for a short time, I'll be back to sorting out the trash in my shed. Trash that used to be good stuff before a winter storm tore off the door of the shed and flooded the shed. But you know, some things don't get ruined by water. Pots and pans, ceramics, I don't know, things that, the water just runs off of them. And things I had in plastic crates so they were protected. Poor Jason is stuck in Arizona, which might be actually worse than California. And they keep telling us, oh, you voted for this. I don't believe we voted for Newsom. I think Newsom cheated. But here in this nice rural mountain community, we have good neighbors, very little crime. Our sheriffs actually get bored up here. So we end up with the nicest, most laid-back sheriffs who, when it's a real emergency, they're on it and they're tough. But most of the time, they're laid back, relaxed, dealing with jaywalking or speeding or minor shoplifting, just one guy grabbing something and running out of the store. Oh, they're on it, but they aren't scared for their lives because it almost never involves a weapon. And I hope Big Bear got lots of snow and is getting more. It's supposed to keep on raining and snowing today, Monday, and tomorrow, Tuesday, and possibly Wednesday. And they live on their ski resorts. Their economy suffers when we don't get snow. They're up over 7,000 feet, probably close to 18. And I'm down here at 500. I'm sorry, 5,000. Brains fried. It's morning. I got my coffee, my tea, my Alka-Seltzer, and my water. I wish I could work. I have spent 3 months selling things at a local shop, and I earned almost $65. $64.95. Yeah, for 3 months. But I earned something. That's a good thing. Oh, another channel I watch on YouTube is A Righteous Perspective. It isn't religious per se, it's political. Oh, and of course, Vihizzy. I think his channel is George A. He's one who lost his channel during COVID. So did Doug TeNapel and a few others. Lumberjack Logic. And there's one that just recently came back. Nick Moseder. And of course, occasionally, if Fox has something interesting, I'll watch it, but not regularly because anything that's really interesting usually gets clipped and aired on another channel. I look for weather reports. We have weather. We're on a mountain. All year round, we have weather. Oh, well. I used to do a lot of office work, including bookkeeping, but I just can't do it on the computer. I screw things up. There's all these little codes in the spreadsheets. I did it. I learned to do all that with pencil and paper. My dad was a CPA. He wasn't wealthy. He didn't work for some big corporation. He had his own little office. But I did work with him a lot, and I worked at other offices through Kelly Girl. Oh, you can't call it that now. It's Kelly Services or something like that. Temporary jobs. Also worked in factories. One of the most interesting was an art framing shop. I got that job on my own without the Kelly service. I've worked with plastic injection molding and all sorts of stuff. testing electronic parts. I got that through an employment agency, a real one, not a temporary job. But they found out I was not quite 18 yet. I was a few months short, so they limited my hours because of the law. And then Nixon cut defense spending, and we lost contracts, so they were laying off, you know, the newest hires got fired first. Ow! They called it laid off, but I couldn't apply for unemployment because I wasn't 18 yet, and there's lots of legal problems there. So I went back home. I had moved out at Christmas 6 months before I turned 18. And I moved back for a short time, and then I met Philip K. Dick. Never heard of him at the time, but I was told that he was a famous science fiction writer. And I'm like, so? I wasn't into science fiction. I had read some Andre Norton just because those were books we had at home. But yeah, he was a great writer. But to me, he was just a man that I met. But just from the beginning, there were sparks. It was like we were meant for each other. Phil used to say that God brought us together in order to produce our son. That was the whole purpose of us falling in love. Love at first sight. Amazing. And my son is a wonderful man. Phil's children, I don't inherit. We got divorced. But Phil's children don't get much after the lawyers and the Hollywood producers take their shares. And it's split 3 ways. Phil had 3 children with 3 different mothers. I don't call us baby mamas because he married us. But yeah, all 3 of his children have jobs. They're not wealthy. But it's nice to get a royalty check once in a while. My son had to give up his dream car. He had a nice job, a good job. He still has it, but he's on limited duty because during COVID he developed a heart problem that's very serious. He has a pacemaker and defibrillator implanted. It's part of him now. He doesn't think he'll live as long as he should have because of this, but he loves his job. He's in charge of a fleet of cars and trucks and SUVs. And he has actually worked repairing cars and motorcycles. He loves that kind of work, but being on limited duty, he's pretty much stuck doing the office work and directing others to do the actual repairs. So anyway, he bought his wife a Mercedes years back, and he had to give it up because he isn't making as much money. And weird thing is, of course, the car was underwater. He owed more than it was worth. It always works out that way when you buy a brand new car. But because of the EV mandates, he was able to get the loan totally forgiven by trading in for an electric Mercedes, which isn't practical, but he's out of debt, at least on the original car. There's all kinds of government subsidies involved. Plus, the poor car dealers are mandated to sell a certain, first to manufacture and then to sell a certain number of electric cars. So they give you a real deal. So if they're just going to be puttering around in town, like getting groceries or something like that, they'll use the electric car. But for driving to work, he still has one gas-powered vehicle to get him to work and back. And it won't have to sit there and get charged. Gosh, I'm smoking too much. I always do this when I'm on live. One cigarette after another. Nervous habit. So let's see what else is going on. Oh, Iran. Trump has sent a second battleship. Is that what they're? No, aircraft carrier. The Abraham Lincoln is already in the Gulf, and he's sending the Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier. And there's battleships and other ships. And the press asked him, "Are you planning to bomb Iran?" And he says, "Why are you sending another aircraft carrier?" Well, if we don't get a deal, we'll need it. He's hoping to make a deal. I don't know whether we can trust a deal with Iran. The people in charge there actually believe that it's okay to to tell lies to people who are not Muslim. It isn't a sin, because we're just the heathens, the vermin, the whatever. Well, I was baptized Southern Baptist, so I guess I'm a Baptist. I'm not a churchgoer. I go when I can. Although now I can watch my local Baptist church on YouTube. No, on Facebook. Pardon me. I get all these things mixed up in my head. I've always been very bad at names, especially of famous actors, and titles of movies, TV shows, books. It isn't because I'm getting old, it's because I've always been that way. But it really bothers me. Uh, yeah, maybe someday I'll have some glitz and glamour for my YouTube channel. But I'm afraid of getting hooked on, you know, shiny objects instead of content. I don't know which book I'm going to finish first. I'm making progress on my second murder mystery and my second cookbook. And I need to write the second science fiction novel after Fallen Angels, which is not about religion, by the way. It's about our genetic cousins coming to live on Earth after they blew up their planet. I don't know. But I've kind of put that aside in order to focus on things I can finish now. Being 71 years old is not that scary for me. Granny lived to 93, and my grandfather, Judd, was 88, and he started smoking at age 9 on the farm in Idaho. My other grandmother, who died young, was 80. Mom doesn't count. We're convinced it was something she did to herself. Dad made it to 84, and he most of his life did not take care of his health. Oh, wow. So here I was, half awake, thinking, I gotta go to the bathroom. That's why I'm up, Jason. Same reason you're up. And really enjoying my recliner chair. I have to sleep elevated because of my back. I can't lie flat because if I do, I can't get up. It's too painful. And it's painful to lie flat. So anyway, I'm enjoying my recliner chair and reminiscing about the chair Granny gave me when I was a teenager. A chair for my bedroom, a nice, overstuffed, comfortable, easy chair with an ottoman. That's like a footstool, but big. And Mom kept yelling at me, "You can't keep that, it's dirty," and all these various reasons why I couldn't keep it. It was so old, it was stuffed with kapok. I'm not sure what kapok is. It's kind of like if you had cotton balls, except not quite. It's a very silky thing, substance, silky and kind of stringy. Anyway, that thing was so comfortable. And eventually she was like, "You have to send that to the dump," the whole time I had it. And when I moved out and got married and everything, she left Dad and took my chair and ottoman. So when I, got a ride, because I didn't drive yet, to come to my parents' house and get my stuff, it wasn't there. She took it and had it reupholstered with stupid foam rubber cushions. She ruined it. It was no longer recognizable. But it didn't go to the dump. Oh no, she just wanted it for herself. And it just was never the same with that stupid foam rubber cushion. It came to me with brocade, really fancy patterned cloth cover, and she had it covered in fake velvet, not real velvet. There's a word for that, but I can't remember it. Velvet, is kind of luxurious, but this was the other stuff that's kind of like velvet. Because, yeah, if you upholster your chair with velvet, it's going to wear out really fast. Anyway, it just wasn't the same. And it wasn't as comfortable. Yeah. So anyway, I feel sorry for my mother. She was an unhappy woman with an alcohol problem, and she started taking speed to stay awake at work because she was drunk all the time. She bragged that on her lunch hour, she would go to the bar and have a few drinks. That's a problem. I've noticed that I can have one drink or a glass of wine with dinner, but if I have two, I'm headed down the road to 6. So I'm not going there. I actually have a bottle of whiskey, Canadian whiskey, Seagram's VO, that I bought in 1998, and I haven't opened it. Because the last thing I need to do is get hooked on alcohol. There's something about a nice mixed drink, a cocktail, but always with a meal, not on an empty stomach, and never have two. Never. I noticed this similar things with they gave me opioids when I broke my leg. God, I think that was 2010, about 15 years ago anyway. By the third day, I noticed that I was in withdrawals. I had symptoms of withdrawal in between the scheduled doses. So I just got rid of the rest of the supply. I had like 50 of them to take twice a day, I think it was. And when I noticed the withdrawal symptoms, I just stopped taking them. So I was uncomfortable for a few hours. Very uncomfortable. But there's no way I was going to get hooked on that stuff. So now I tell all the doctors, because it's true, opioids make me vomit. And I had to take an antiemetic in order to take the pain pills, to stop the vomiting. Not worth it. And frankly, I think I get just as good a result with the things like aspirin, ibuprofen, even Aleve, naproxen sodium. They all have side effects you want to avoid, so I don't take them all the time. Alka-Seltzer, by the way, is aspirin, but you don't have to swallow a pill. You get to drink it, and I kind of like the flavor. I know I'm all over the map here, rambling. Yeah, Jason said companies don't want to give you work hours. Well, see, they don't want to hire people because of all the laws, rules, regulations, and such involved in having employees. And the minimum wage is a joke. In 1972, I was taking home $65 a week working full time, and I was living well. I was actually saving up to buy a car. Of course, I kind of needed to get a driver's license first, but minimum wage I think was $2.75 an hour. $2.75, and that was a good living wage. California now it's like $15 or $20 an hour, and you can't live on it. Especially when you can't get a full-time job because of all the legal problems with having employees. We don't have too much of a problem here locally, but many people work down the hill in Los Angeles or San Bernardino, you know, but there's jobs up here too. A girl that I watched growing up, she was a friend of my granddaughter, is actually climbing up the ladder to higher positions at a local resort, doing really well. And here, I would work if I could. I want to. I don't care if I'm sweeping floors and washing windows. I want to work. And it kills me that I can't. I could putter around and do a few things, but it wouldn't be worth $15 an hour. And I'd have to take frequent breaks. That wouldn't do. I've been trying for freaking ever. I couldn't teach English anymore. I various reasons. I just can't do it. I end up with super panic attacks in large groups, like a classroom full of students. And it isn't fair to them. Coffee, tea, water, and Alka-Seltzer. I'll go with coffee this time. Oh, YouTube says I have 5 people listening. That's cool. For me, it's the middle of the night, but for many of my subscribers, it's completely different time zone. And Verizon seems to be letting me do this without cutting off the, what do you call it? Jeez. The internet connection. See, here in the rural mountain community, Verizon doesn't have enough bandwidth for all of us. So during business hours, you're kind of stuck. It gets slower than the old AOL dial up used to be. And you don't even get to hear it play in that little musical tune that AOL would play for you. And I was dragged onto the internet for work. I really didn't want to do it. So I ended up with AOL so I could work at home and email the work that I completed. And then I switched to Earthlink. So I have experience with AOL and Earth Stink. They were cheaper and a little better. A little learning curve to use it. I actually had a Yahoo account while I was using Earthlink. Uh, they were offering free blogs. They give you a little setup. You can set up a page and post on it. And then suddenly they just canceled all of that. And they said, if you want to keep your blog, back it up. Well, I had no clue how to back it up, and it wasn't worth it to me, so I just quit using Yahoo. They're still around, but I'm not on it. I did enjoy the chat rooms. There were various places with chat rooms, but if you were inactive for a few minutes, they'd kick you out and you'd have to sign back in. And I kept telling them I have to go to the bathroom once in a while. Oh, well. Good old days of internet that took forever to sign in, and it was slow because it was dial-up over the phone line. That actually saved me a ton of money when it went wireless, so I don't have to have a landline phone. But I kind of miss the landline because it didn't run out of batteries. It didn't go down in a power outage. See, even though I can charge my phone with little portable devices, Verizon can't charge the batteries at their towers. They have some battery backup, but when the power goes down, the batteries will also go down, and then you have no internet, no communication with the outside world. Often you can't even make a phone call or send a text message. Oh well. Snowmageddon in 2023. Yeah, things went down. Verizon, to their credit, actually got us reconnected after a few days. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. But by then, a lot of people's cell phones were out of battery and they were out of ways to recharge them because the power was out. Edison was pretty good about getting the power back on when it quit snowing, but a lot of people were just buried, their whole house. They couldn't open a door. They were climbing out the windows on the second floor, the second story. Now, I have a door that opens into the house, so I could open the door And it's on the sheltered side of my house, but the snow was still 4 feet high. Even the cat didn't want to go out. That was before these little feral cats moved in. A feral cat had her kittens under my house after the snow melted. So I now have my 2 pet cats and 3 feral cats. They come in to eat and use the litter box, but they aren't actually pets. They run away from me. Even unless there are cat treats, but even when I'm putting food in their dish, they run away and stand at a distance just in case I might want to touch them. Silly cats. I have gotten them to come inside at night. It's important because of all the critters in these mountains. In particular, raccoons just love to kill cats. And they're mostly nocturnal. They come out at night, the raccoons. And we do have a bear and a mountain lion that come around once in a while. And there's coyotes and stray dogs, too. Not as many stray dogs since 2 of the dog hoarder houses got emptied out. One man in particular had something, they said he had 50. Others say no, he had 30. That's still a lot of dogs, and they were all Akita, very popular dog breed, but they were inbred and they were not socialized. So animal control took the ones they could catch. They often roamed loose in the streets looking for food. And the ones they could rehome, they did, because people want Akitas. But some just, there was no way. They were vicious and had to be put down. Really sad. The other dog hoarder house was Chihuahuas. I think they were able to rehome all of them, at least most of them. The only dog that ever scared me was a Chihuahua when I was a kid, about 9 years old. This lady who lived in an apartment would put her Chihuahua outside, and he was on a long leash tied to a post so he could run around a bit. And we wouldn't go near him because everyone told us, oh, he bites. And even if he only bites your ankle, it can be a serious wound. You never know where a dog's mouth has been. Oh, I take it back. One other dog scared me when I was an adult. I was taking my trash out to the dumpster because I was stuck in an apartment. And this Chow dog, who is known to be vicious, saw me and was tracking me and getting ready to charge. And I was saved by the wolf, this wolf dog who was like 95% wolf and 5% dog, known to all of us in the neighborhood. Cato. He came along and just distracted the dog, the chow. Sniffed him and said, "Come on, let's play." Didn't hurt the dog, certainly didn't hurt me, saved me. I miss my dog. He was Rottweiler and Black Lab mix. His mother was a purebred Rottweiler and his father was a traveling salesman. Bandit was the best, such a sweetie. I'd put him on the leash and walk him into town and people would stop and pet him. Such a good dog. He lived to be, let's see, I think 16, maybe only 14. Let me think. Got him in 98. Oh my, he died the same year as Dad. He was 16. That's old for a Rottweiler, even a Rottie mix. My son's dog was a Black Lab who was 1/4 German Shepherd. And Molly ended up being my dog because when my son moved out, he didn't take her with him. Molly lived a long time too. She was 18. I had eventually to rehome her with a dog lady, kind of like a cat lady, but she was into dogs. She had 2 dogs, 2 German Shepherds, and Molly. And Molly loved to ride in the car, and she loved people. And this lady who took her in would go to the veterans home with a dog. So she'd have Molly dress Molly in a doggy clown outfit and take her to visit the veterans. Because Molly was the perfect size for someone in a wheelchair to pet her. And she was so calm and friendly and such a good dog. They loved her and she loved them. So the last 2 years of her life, she was with, I've forgotten her name, but she was a wonderful lady. And I was unable to keep Molly at that time. I was renting a room because I couldn't come up with the deposits for an apartment. And cat hair. Phew. Anyway, I was so glad that I had a good home for Molly. Before that, I'd been renting a room from a guy in Norco who had horses. And from time to time, the horses would break out of their paddock and into his garden, and he would chase them out. Well, Molly caught on real quick, and she started chasing them out of the garden. She'd run around in circles and bark at them, and they'd run back to their paddock. Such a good dog. I really want a dog, but I don't think I can afford to keep one. One vet bill would bankrupt me. And there's the license fees and the vaccinations and I couldn't keep up with it. Oh well, I've been on for an hour and 10. Amazing. What else is going on in the world? Oh, the Save America bill. Oh, that's the voter ID. We talked about that. Apparently, more than 80% of Americans are for it. But for some reason, the people in Congress are not. Whom do they represent? Not the people who voted for them. I'm tired of hearing all the things about Jim Crow. I was alive and aware at the end of Jim Crow. I was born in 1954. At that time, even in 1960, when Kennedy was elected president, Watts was a thriving community where people owned their homes and had good jobs. There was discrimination, there was racial tension, and we knew, even as white people in the white part of town, there were no laws keeping out people of color, but it just worked out that way. But the police, especially in Los Angeles and Oakland, tended to be brutal, and they didn't like people with dark skin, and we knew it. Then we had the Watts riot in 1965. We were living in Culver City, which is just a stone's throw from downtown Los Angeles. It was frightening. Now, I can understand why people were up in arms about what happened that started that riot. But so many took advantage of the chaos to loot all the stores. My grandmother was in her upstairs, in the upstairs part of her apartment, and she said she saw people running down the street carrying brand new television sets and all sorts of stuff. That was when color television was a brand new thing and the sets were very expensive. Most people like us had black and white TV sets. Imagine that, no color. No color TV. And it happens to this day. A protest starts and some bad actors turn it into a riot. And then they go into 7-Eleven and take everything. Then they go to the Verizon store and take all the phones. They go to the Apple store and take all the iPhones. They go in the shoe store and take everything. Oh, and the jewelry shops, they smash the windows and take everything. And clothing stores, and Walmart, and Target. Well, in the Rodney King riot, I think that was, 92 or thereabouts. I was at my brother's house and I could not go home because there were people on the bridge over the freeway throwing rocks and bricks onto cars below them. And onto the road next that had the on-ramp to the freeway. That was the route I had to take to get home. There really wasn't any feasible alternate route, and I couldn't be sure that there wasn't rioting even if I went miles out of my way. There might be rioting going on there as well. So I had to wait for everything to calm down before I could go home. And that's when I learned that in Riverside, part of California's Inland Empire, east of Los Angeles, the protesters started heading toward the big shopping mall. And the Riverside police and sheriffs stopped them. They never made it to Tyler Mall. But in Los Angeles and nearby towns, completely different story. I've kind of paid some attention to my stats on YouTube lately. I usually don't. But when people just drop in for a few minutes and then leave, it pushes down their YouTube calculation of how long the average listener stayed on my stream. Oh well. I know they want me to talk about Philip K. Dick and Blade Runner, Minority Report, Total Recall, The Man in the High Castle, Electric Dreams. Well, there's plenty of people who are actually more knowledgeable than I am about those things. I can tell you how Phil wrote and how I did his copy editing and brainstorming. But I haven't read all his books. I haven't written academic papers about them. I'm more familiar with who he was as a person, and I can tell you he could be a real asshole. Most people can. I've never met anyone who couldn't be an asshole some of the time. But the spotlight was on him. Because he was well known, even though I didn't know who he was when I met him. Science fiction was still in a sort of a ghetto. Oh, that's for teenagers who can't get a date, you know, that sort of thing. Well, his books are much more than a way to pass the time. They're thought provoking. He was exploring questions that he had about reality, society, government, etc. And many of his works actually did predict bits of the future, although that was not his intent. His story for Dangerous Visions, why am I blank on the title? It's one of the few of his works I've actually read. That's bothering me. I've forgotten the title. Well, anyway, it actually shows a world in which the United States is ruled by China. I hope he's wrong. Oh, well. Oh, well. It's an hour and 22 minutes. I probably should get up and make something to eat. My mouse went to sleep. Come on, mouse, wake up. It's time to sign off. And I thank you all for being here. I didn't notify people who want notifications because they'll be asleep. They won't get the message anyway. So thank you all for being here and have a great day. I'm sitting here through a break in the rain, and there's no going back to sleep. I have to clean up the mess in the kitchen. I made a cake that I won't eat, so I got to get rid of it. It's doesn't taste right. It was an experiment. Okay, guys, have a great and wonderful day with lots of sunshine and smiles and laughing, and enjoy your life. Trust me, it's worth it. See ya.